You can't have an internet business without a website, right? It is a time to take our first steps toward this massive journey that is digital entrepreneurship. Let's start building your first website. The time has come. You're going to build a website for your business. Let's do it. Wait. Before we can start building that magnificent website, we need a couple of things first. Like, we couldn't be a taxi driver without a car. We can't have a website without a domain and a hosting service. What is a domain? Where do I buy one? What is a hosting? Different types of hosting? Which one do I choose? Where do I buy them? Don't get overwhelmed. All of this is what we are going to share in today's video. I will also give you some tips to make your life a little bit easier. Without further ado, let's get started, shall we? When you start building your first website, it is going to need a name. A domain is basically the name of your website. It's work as the internet address. Let's put this example so you get it perfectly. Let's compare your website with your home, okay, where you live. The home itself will be the website. Is your online home, and its address is your domain. The domain acts as the internet address for your website. It is absolutely crucial. Without it, people will not be able to find you and your business. Tips for choosing your domain. Choosing the right domain can be tricky because there are a lot of things to take into consideration. Let me share with you some good practices that will help you choose the right domain so you don't regret it later. First one, make it easy to type. Using a domain that is easy to type is the best option. If you use on your domain the letter U instead of the whole word you, or words with multiple spellings, it can be difficult for your customers to find you and your business. Second tip, make it short. If your domain name is super long, you run the risk that your customer misspell it or mistype it. Short and simple is the best way to go, at least if you can. Tip number 3, use your name. If you plan on being the face of your business, then using your name is really recommendable. Tip number 4, use keywords. Use keywords on your domain that describe the value of your business. Tip number 5, use the appropriate extension. There are a lot of different extensions. .com, .es, .org, you name it. Every country have different ones. If you can and your audience is going to be global, if it is going to be local, you don't need it, but if it is going to be global, use .com always. Obviously, all of these are just some recommendations. You don't have to follow this 100%, you know? For example, for my business, I don't use my name. I use the golden prism, and I feel like it expresses what I want, while my name wouldn't. Where do I buy my domain? There are innumerable amount of platforms to buy your domain when building your first website. I am going to share with you a couple of them, the best ones that I can find. But before you buy it, let me stop you right there, okay? There is something that you should know. Most hosting services, when you buy their hosting, they offer you a free domain with your plan. Before buying your domain in one of the domain registrars that I am going to share with you, maybe you should wait until you buy your hosting so you can benefit from a free domain. Hey, if you can save yourself between $10 to $15, perfect, more money that you have to buy a top-notch hosting or a premium plugin for your website. Also, be aware that the domain has to be repurchased every year. If not, you will lose it. These are the two domain registrars that I have chosen for you, and they are among the best. The first one is Google Domains. Cloudflare, I think it's pronounced like that, I really don't know. What is a hosting platform? When building your first website, you will need a domain, but you will also need a place to store it. Well, a hosting platform is a paid service to store your website files. It's the physical place where you store your website. So basically, you are buying server space for your website files. But there are a lot of different ones. So let me share with you the most common ones. Different types of hosting. We have different types of hosting, and depending on what you are trying to achieve, you will choose one or the other. Let's see the most common ones so you can choose the right for you. First one, shared hosting. As its name suggests, is a website server where there are multiple websites stored. Basically, you share resources and space on the server with other websites. This type of hosting is the most common one, since it's the cheapest. Nevertheless, it has many disadvantages, so you must be careful when choosing this type of hosting. Cheap can be expensive, remember that. VPS hosting, Virtual Private Server, VPS. In this type of hosting, the user shares the same physical server, but they will not share their resources, as it happens with shared hosting. Let's go with our next one, cloud hosting. This is a hosting service that uses multiple different physical servers in order to create a server on the cloud. Think of the cloud as a network of different computers that are interconnected together. This has many advantages with respect with shared hosting. And let's go with our last one, dedicated server hosting. In this case, you have a whole server for your website alone, which means that you will not share your resources with other websites, with other clients in any way. Which hosting should I use? Or better said, you. Well, that depends on multiple factors, like what is your budget, what kind of website you want to build, how important is security for you. I can't give you an exact answer, since the only one that knows all the particular details of your business is you. But I am going to share with you the one that I personally use and a couple of them more, so you can choose the most appropriate for you. Let's see a quick summary to clear your head of all doubts, okay? Share hosting will be used for really tight budgets. It's good for a small businesses websites or hobby blogs with low traffic, but it is not the most professional, okay? BPS hosting. This is for businesses that want something a little bit better than share hosting, but with a medium budget. Cloud hosting. This is perfect for rapidly growing websites that needs scalable resources. And dedicated server hosting, only recommendable for huge websites where you need to have the control. Now let me share with you the hosting that I personally use and a couple of them more. I will classify them also according to your budget. So I will share with you a hosting if you have high budget, medium budget and low budget. So you can choose the most appropriate for you. For people with high budgets, I have to admit that for me, one of the most important parts of an online business is a really good hosting. I mean, you will not have a Ferrari with bicycles wheels with bicycle wheels, right? So I invest in a really good hosting. A good hosting is an investment. For this simple reason, I do not scheme on hosting. For me, the best hosting and the one that I personally use is Kinsta. Kinsta exclusively offers Google Cloud Server hosting. Let's see some advantages and disadvantages so you can see if this one is for you, okay? Advantages of Kinsta. First one, it is extremely fast. Second one, top-notch security. Third, cloud-based hosting. 4, 99.9 uptime guarantee. 5, 23 plus data centers to choose from. 6, easy migrations. 7, if your website gets hacked, they will solve it for you fast and free, with no additional cost. 8, awesome technical support. And 9, extensive knowledge base. If you want to know more about their characteristics to see if they are for you or not, I will leave you a link in the description or on my website. You should be in my website, much better. Disadvantages of Kinsta. The first one and the biggest one, it is quite expensive. Second one, it only offers support via chat. Third, it doesn't have email hosting. And 4, it only offers cloud hosting. For people with medium budgets, I understand that building your first website is not easy and our budgets can be limited. So if you have a little tight budget and you prefer to spend the money of that super good hosting in other parts of your business, I completely understand it. Nevertheless, you still want a decent host without having to pay a kidney. Then, let me share with you my medium budget option, Hostinger. Advantages of Hostinger. It has really competitive prices. Second, good security. 3, really good uptime. 4, great speed. And 5, multiple options to choose from. BPS, share, cloud, you choose. In this particular situation for medium budget, the cloud version of Hostinger is perfect. Disadvantages of Hostinger. First one, if you want a good price, you will have to commit for 40 8 months, 4 years, which is a lot. 2. It doesn't offer phone support. 3. If you overuse your resources, you will have a problem. 4. It doesn't offer a free service if your website gets hacked. And 5. Not all plans comes with a free domain for people with low budgets. Okay, if you really have a tight budget and you just need a cheap host to get things started, be aware that you should never ever cut expenses on hosting. But I understand that beginnings are hard, really hard. If you could see my setup right now, it would blow your mind. One day I will show it to you. I will share with you a cheap auction that is still decent, so you can get things started. But remember that you should upgrade this as soon as you can. My recommendation is still hosting, but this time the shared hosting auction, which is really affordable. With shared hosting, you can get your business started at a really low price. Of course, before choosing your hosting, you should read really carefully all the features that they offer, so you know perfectly what they offer. Do this at least if you want to avoid unwanted surprises. Conclusion. Terrific! You have taken the first step, but most important, towards building your first website. Now you should have a domain, your website name, and a hosting, a place to store your website files. Well done! You have set a proper base, and now you are one step closer. Now it is time to start building our website. But first, let's see the next tools that you are going to need in order to build that magnificent and professional website of yours. On the next post of this module, we are going to see what is a theme and a page builder, so you can start getting your hands dirty with the work. See you on the next post so we can start building that website of yours. The first steps are the hardest, but once you start moving, everything changes. So start now. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope it is useful, and I hope to see you in the next one, so we can continue with this magnificent journey that is digital entrepreneurship. Bye bye guys, and peace.